Now, the French Prime Minister, the new French Prime Minister, named, of course, only on Friday, is holding talks to try to avoid his new government falling early to a no-confidence vote, like, of course, the last government of Michel Barnier. François Bayrou has to get support from across the board, and he's met, in fact, just in the last hour with the far-right leader, Marine Le Pen, and our French politics editor, Marc Perelman, is joining me here on set. Marc, Marine Le Pen's come out of that meeting and actually sounded pretty positive, didn't she?
Yes, she was rather pleased, apparently, with that meeting, which lasted an hour or so. She said, we have been listened to, maybe not heard, but at least she said, okay, the Prime Minister seems to be really intent on dialogue, and she contrasted it with the outgoing Prime Minister Michel Barnier, who she said ended up talking to us only when he felt the threat of a motion of no confidence. And so she said François Bayrou seems more open. She didn't go into details, but we know that there's a rather good personal relationship between them, not on the ideology and even on the budget, but, for instance, and Marine Le Pen mentioned this in her remarks, that François Bayrou is a long-term advocate of proportional voting, which is also something that she's wanted for years. So she said this is not the most urgent thing. The most urgent thing is putting together a budget and passing it. But clearly, she seemed to say, okay, we'll have to wait. Nice words are one thing. Big actions are another thing, but at least it's a good start for François Bayrou, because Marine Le Pen is the one who pulled the trigger against Michel Barnier. He then met with Gabriel Attal, who was Prime Minister not that long ago and is the head of the Macron bloc at the Parliament. No comment from Gabriel Attal coming out of these meetings. And there'll be other meetings with the Socialists, with the Conservatives. This is normal. François Bayrou was just appointed. He now needs to do two things. One is to put together a government. He said it would be a small commando-style government. They all say this, and it's not always the case in the end. And then he needs to make sure that he can navigate through this fractured parliament longer than Michel Barnier, only 3 months.
The one party he won't be meeting, though, with is that very far-left party, France Unbowed.
Yes, absolutely. François Bayrou said, as of today, I'm inviting all the parties, and it's essentially the party that has the most seats that begins. So this is why the National Rally was first. But we already see an interesting difference. When there was an unusual meeting last week at the presidential palace, the Élysée, Emmanuel Macron really made a point of not inviting the National Rally. France Unbowed also said they wouldn't come. But this morning, François Bayrou, starting by welcoming the National Rally, is already sending the signal that he's not exactly seeing eye to eye with the president. He also had invited France Unbowed, but they've said François Bayrou, for us, he's a historic ally of Emmanuel Macron. He's going to implement the same policies. The talk might be different, but in the end, it's the same for us. So we will not go. What's important for François Bayrou is to meet with the other members of the leftist coalition, that is the Greens, the Communists, and especially the Socialists, because his objective is to basically blow up this new Popular Front and have the Socialists, if not participate in the government, if not vote for him in the National Assembly, at least not vote against him. This is what they did with Michel Barnier. So he has to make sure they remain neutral. They've said, okay, we want no new immigration bill. We want a more generous budget when it comes to maybe less expenditure cuts and maybe more taxation on the wealthy. We'll have to see what François Bayrou might be able to give them in order to make sure they give him more breathing room at the National Assembly. Obviously, it's a tall order for him.
Marc, thanks very much. Marc Perelman, our French politics editor, continue to follow the shenanigans, if you like,